them qualifying second position is actually a good one for Arsenal. Like I did say on the program, I think their priority coming into the Premiership this season was not to win the EPL. It was just to finish within the top 4. And unfortunately, they made themselves top in the table, but they couldn't keep on to that momentum. Transfer is going to come up next month. By June 15, I expect some good signings, some Michael signings to come into Arsenal. They should be able to challenge for the league again next season.
So, let's see next season will announce itself. Well, we still have the game between Chelsea and Newcastle. Jimmy, what do you think? Chelsea 1-1 at halftime. For you, for now, who would you pick?
Chelsea is even putting on a Chelsea.
He's a Chelsea fan.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a Chelsea faithful. So, what do you think? Newcastle, Chelsea, Newcastle. Who are your go-to guys? And who will you be substituting at halftime?
First of all, I will substitute Conor Gallagher. If I'm talking about substitute.
Since you are not a fan of
I'm
Gallagher.
not a fan of. I don't see that guy as a midfielder. If you are a midfielder, you have to be one of the most technical players or smartest players on the pitch. That guy is a road runner. Maybe if he quits football and goes into,
mountain race.
Yeah, mountain race or, marathon, maybe he will do well because he has the energy to run for hours and hours. But, I feel like the bench is strong enough to do something. I'm surprised we're drawing against Newcastle, but I can understand. They are not taking this game as serious as, they are already in the Champions League position. They are only fighting for the 3rd position. If they win this game, go 3rd, but, there's no real difference. So yeah, I expect...
Now, the news coming out today was that Pochettino has already signed a contract until 2026 to be the new Chelsea manager. If you look at it, Poch, the teams he has handled, what are your expectations for Chelsea next season?
Yeah, I think with the young squad that we have and the new young players that we bought and coming up through the ranks, players like Mikhailo Mudryk, Madueke, also Luiso, Chukwuemeka, we have a lot of young players, and Pochettino is known for, sporting young talents and developing them. So I have huge belief in him that he can actually do something with these players. And if you look out to the other managers that are available, you can't find many that are better than him. So, in my opinion, though.
Okay. For our viewers, Shegun is also a Chelsea fan. So, Shegun, what do you think?
You don't really have to announce that.
Are you now hiding?
I'm not hiding.
Okay.
I'm currently on air, so we already know the Chelsea fans. The Chelsea fan in our midst, so we are on air right now.
Blue is the color.
But blue is not the color this season.
But it's all right.
Pochettino coming in as Chelsea coach is actually a good one right now, because you look at the coaches available. From which team do you want to go and pitch a coach right now? I don't think there's any team that's ready to lose its coach. And
when there's money,
they took a big gamble. That's what I'm coming. They took a big gamble on Grant Potter, which I'm sure the Chelsea board don't want to be making again. They don't want to make that mistake. That's why they had to sacrifice the remainder of the season so that they can actually get it right. Bring in Pochettino. Pochettino is a good coach. He's a coach that actually have that experience coaching in the EPL. And a lot of these young boys should be happy playing under him. We have some players who might actually be leaving, because I expect Chelsea to sell not less than 12 players in this window. We have people like Mason Mount, who is actually finding it hard to sign new deal with Chelsea, so he might be on his way out. Like you said about Gallagher, yeah, there's something about Chelsea fans with so much players. There are some players we don't actually like in the team, but I'm sure when Gallagher goes to a team without much pressure, a team that actually has a technical 10 in that team, you actually see the best of Gallagher. We saw him at Crystal Palace when he was on loan, and how good he can be on his day. It's just the same problem with Loftus-Cheek at Chelsea. These are players that will surely lift Chelsea to another team and actually play good football. I can't wait to see Chelsea next season, because I know they're surely going to play good football.
Well, for me, Gallagher has not been bad.
He hasn't been bad.
It's just that the kind of midfielder
the consistency is not there for him.
Don't like.
And he's not the kind of midfielder that Chelsea fans actually want to see. That's what I'm saying. If he goes to a team like, I really want him to go to a team like Newcastle, because you will see the best of Gallagher.
And on our screens, the second half of some teams has restarted. Arsenal still leading 3-0 47th minute. Aston Villa still 2-1 46th minute. Brentford Man City still 0-0 at the 48th minute. 46th minute, Crystal Palace, Nottingham still leading 1-0. 46th minute, Leicester still leading 1-0 against West Ham. 47th minute, Man U still playing 1-1 against Fulham. And surprisingly, 49th minute, Southampton lead Liverpool 3-2.
Wow, that sums up Liverpool's season because we've seen how bad they've been this season, how below par we've seen what Liverpool have actually done this season. At the point, they were 2 goals ahead of Southampton, and Southampton coming back to take the lead very early on the second half. That is 3-2 right now. Shows how much the form Liverpool came into this season. They really need to go into the transfer window and get some good players coming into next season. It's so sad seeing Liverpool.
But are you saying Liverpool don't have good players?
I'm not saying they don't have good players, but this season is actually not good for them. They've actually had issues with injuries. They lost a talisman, Sadio Mane. So it's a team that is actually trying to reposition itself and trying to rebuild itself. So I expect them to just go into the transfer window. Yes, they're getting they're getting McAllister, which is actually
it's not sure yet.
It's like 70% sure. So if they're able to get him, it's actually a good one for them because we've seen how much injury prone Thiago Alcantara is. So I think McAllister coming is actually a good one. That was a beautiful goal for Southampton in their game.
Yeah. And Jimmy, let's talk about Everton Bournemouth. You know, if Everton wins this game, Everton is home and dry. The Leeds United and Leicester City, whatever they play, don't count. Do you see Everton winning this game so far based on what you've seen?
Well, I will first judge it based on what I believe. Coming into this match, Sean Dyche, I had faith in him that in this kind of situation, he's that man to save the club.
Go-to man.
He's the go-to man. He did it with Burnley a lot of times.
And an update for our viewers, Tottenham just scored the second goal. Tottenham leading.
I think Leicester, Leeds City
2 goals to 0.
Be seeing themselves going to the relegation now. They should be preparing for next season in the relegation. Wow, that was a beautiful goal for Tottenham there. That is who scored this goal? Poro.
Poro, yeah.
Yeah, that is a nice one for him.
Harry Kane scored the first goal.
Harry Kane with the first goal. You know, we were talking about Harry Kane some days ago about how Erling Haaland actually makes his number looks ordinary this season. That's his 26 or 27 goals this season. 29 goals this season. You see how much that competition pushes Harry Kane to get good number of goals. Because on a good day, why is Alan coming? Harry Kane scoring 25 goals is like a very good one for him every season to win the golden boots in EPL. But this season we have a Alan who's actually pushing them above limit and above standard. Next season we'll have a lot of goals and strikers trying to get more goals in EPL.
Strikers, midfielders, defenders, everybody has their role to play in a football team. So far so good in the Premier League this season. We have our champions already, Manchester City, deservedly, because Arsenal couldn't withstand the pressure and the heat of becoming a champion. Boys don't become champions, only men do. So if you don't win this season, well, there's always a tomorrow that never dies. There was a time Liverpool started counting tomorrow until it turned to, I think, 30 years plus before they could win another Premier League. Manchester United has started counting their own tomorrow. And that tomorrow now is now over 10 years.
10 years
they've not won the league. Well, Chelsea's tomorrow is just about, I think, 5 years old or 6 years old now. They've not won the league. Well, we don't know about some other teams like Tottenham. Maybe they will ever win this league in this century. Maybe they will come back as champions. We don't know. Only God knows tomorrow. But sometimes football is predictable. Because like I used to say, there are still minnows in football. Some will say there are no minnows. There are still minnows in football. That's why when Man City wants to face a club like Inter in the final, you feel that because Man City has a better team, they will take Inter to the cleaners. Inter might not be like Chelsea that can pull the upset. But on June 13, we'll see who will come home with the prize, who will make their team proud, and who will say, oh, this is our time. This is our time to shine. This is our time to take it home. Well, over in England, we have the last day, the final day running. Everton needs to win. As it stands right now, Everton is on 18th position. They need to win. Oh, they just lost a very good chance.
That's about how many chances are they going to
They just lost. And Bournemouth is safe already, actually. So it's not as if they have something to play for. But if you want to win in the Premier League, you have to deserve it. So, Chegu.
You know the beauty of
Everton.
You know the beauty of this game. They have there's more to this game than this game we're actually seeing. They have a score. These both teams have a score to settle. Because the last time Bournemouth were in the league, they lost to Everton on the last day, which actually sent them to the relegation. Okay. So they also want to return that favor to Everton today, making sure that Everton will win this game and see them going back to the championship. So there's more to it. It's just like what we saw yesterday in the Dortmund game against against Mainz, where Dortmund couldn't win the league on their home ground. So
we'll still get
Everton playing at home, so they should actually try and push more to win the game. We've actually not seen much from the Everton boys. They've not really been that much on the attacking side, and it speaks so much about the coach. That is Sean Dyche. The kind of pattern of football we've always known with him is a kind of coach that actually plays
and a quick update: Arsenal just made it 4. The goal by Thomas Partey, insult after injury, inconsequential performance. As far as I'm concerned,
it's good for them. Let them just take it like pre-season. Also, Wolverhampton to our home and dry. They're not really getting, so there's nothing actually to use. Everybody just trying to keep it safe and playing a game of football like.
Oh, the goal was chalked off.
Chalked off for probably that's infringement outside the net.
That's one thing about VAR. When you celebrate, don't celebrate too much. Imagine Partey doing like 50 backflip. And VAR chopping up the goal. So a quick update. Arsenal back to 3-0, 54th minute. Aston Villa 2-1. And let's talk about Aston Villa Tottenham looking for who will represent England at the Conference League next season.
Well, if we're talking based on experience and ability to actually win the Conference League, I think Tottenham is a good representative for England. But if you're talking about a team that actually deserves it, like a team that has actually worked this socks up, I think Aston Villa actually deserved it. We knew where they were coming from around 17 to actually find themselves around the top team is actually a big one for them. And qualifying for the Conference League will actually be a big bonus for them. We equally see West Ham were into the final of the Conference League this season. So these teams actually build more experience for these teams.
Wow. Yeah, of course, it does. Every game you play is an experience. Jimmy, Man U just made it 2. It seems that revenge plot of Fulham is not going to hold any water. The goal was scored by Bruno Fernandes.
Well, I mean, the third spot is looking like it's secured for Manchester United.
It's not looking like.
It is secured.
It's at the bank already.
For Manchester United. So, for me, they've had a good season. I would even go beyond and say they've had a better season than Arsenal, in my opinion. Because Arsenal, the only highlight of Arsenal's season is ending in second
position.
I mean, they did well, don't get me wrong, they had a good season.
Of course, you have a strong point.
But in terms of silverware, Manchester United actually won the Carabao Cup.
In the final of the FA Cup.
They are still in the final. They could win another, another trophy. That's what's in the goal now by Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, so Manchester United, I think they've had a good season with Eric Ten Hag. Just his first season, I mean, 2 finals. It's not easy in the Premier League, in the English league to be successful in your first season as a manager. So let's see if they will turn into title contenders if they go into the market and get some, some players that can help them.
You know, if England was like Nigeria, you will see fans of Leicester City starting to pray to God right now that Everton doesn't win. Shego, do you think Leicester will take home the game against West Ham?
Well, that is actually a hard one. It's harder for Leicester to actually take on the victory against West Ham, but they are currently leading. Let's see how much they can push on, hold on to it. Let me be partial here. Leicester has Nigerian players. They have Ndidi and what's it called, and Iheanacho on that
Everton
team.
too, huh?
Everton has will be, but it's not. Everton has not really have. They don't really deserve that much to stay in the league because they held on to Frank Lampard too much. They had the time, they had the opportunity of sacking Lampard early into the season, but they kept on that fate, and that is why they are where they are now. I'm actually trying to put myself or put my supports on the side of Leicester. We've seen some beautiful game of football from Leicester. We know how good Leicester can be on their own day. It's just unfortunate that they are currently where they are this season. And they are currently leading, so it's looking like a better one for them than Everton. Probably if Everton gets a goal, then we can actually talk about Everton surviving the drop. But right now, it's favoring Leicester.
But, Jimmy, Leicester put themselves in this position. Because when you sell and you don't recruit well to cover up.
Oh, finally, Dakori. Finally, go for Everton. That is a good that might shape everything today.
What a strike.
What a strike.
Everton just scored a decisive goal that can keep them in the Premier League.
And it's actually
the goal was scored by Dakore. We just hope VR won't spot anything this time.
There's nothing to spot in that. That was beautiful.
Wait until like few seconds before. the party goal was chopped up for a foul leading to goal.
You guys should just get back.
And Arsenal just made it 4. They just made it 4.
Finally.
Yeah,
That's not actually oppressing everybody.
All those kind of, there are some kind of performances that you give your fans to keep them thirsty for next season. And sometimes, many of the times, they disappoint them.
You know what's actually paining me in it is that Wolves are not the reason why Arsenal are currently where they are. I don't understand why Wolves are the one paying.
No. Wolves is actually not paying anything because they are safe already.
Yeah, they're safe already, but losing 4-0 at Arsenal, it's not really good for the manager. Losing 4-0 on the final day, it's not really a good one for him. But it is what it is. We know what Arsenal can actually do at home, and that's typical Arsenal at home. At the point they made the Emirates Stadium before.
Our fans need to hear this. A long pass, a drop header for Dakore, and picked his spot outside of the box and struck it. Was a very sweet volley. The keeper was looking at it as if he was in the cinema, looking at the ball just bouncing back into the back of the
why I really love Dakore? I've actually been watching him from Watford, and it strikes me like a player that is very close to Yaya Toure. The kind of the way he plays his ball, the way he takes his shots, the way he takes his pass. It strikes me so much like Yaya Toure. A very good player. This is one of the players that will actually stay in the EPL. Should Everton drop to the Division 2, to the Championship? Sorry.
Which, for instance, if Leicester and Tottenham and Leeds United.
This might actually be the last game for Loftus Cheek at Chelsea.
Yeah, of course.
It's actually been
because it seems it's getting close to AC Milan.
Yeah, it's getting close to AC Milan.
So if Leicester and Leeds drop down to the Premier League and Southampton, which team do you think will lose quality players the most, Jimmy?
If
Leicester and Leeds and Southampton drop down to the Championship next season, which team do you think will lose quality players the most?
Obviously Leicester.
Leicester, why?
Because if you look at the squad, they are not meant to be in this position, considering the talents that they have in their squad. You mentioned Southampton and Leeds. You look at the quality of the players.
Is it talent or names?
Yeah, talent and names. If you look at for example, you look at the young Daka. You look at Harvey Barnes. You look at James Madison. You look at players like that. They are big names, but yeah, they're also talented. If James Madison was in a top 6 club, I reckon he would get 20 goal contributions in a fair season for him, in a good season for him. He will get 20 G&As. You look at Leeds. I don't think there's anyone you can boldly stand for like that. And same goes to Southampton. Some argue word prowess, but most of his stars come from set pieces and things like that. So I feel like Leicester would be the one to pay to lose a lot of players if they are dropped.
Shagu, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll share in his thoughts. But when you look at Leeds United, you look at player like what's it called, Rodrigo, which is a fantastic player. That would be a good striker for any team in EPL to actually hold on to. And if he's not staying in the EPL, probably he'll go back to to La Liga. I think he's right. He's actually right. Leicester going down will actually be the one losing more talented players. If they can actually keep most of these players, then probably we can see Leicester coming back to the EPL next in 2 season time. But you look at Leicester team, there's a Madison, like you rightly said. He is a player that will actually get you double-digit goals and assists every season. You have a Kelechi Iheanacho, who is another fantastic player. You have Ndidi, who on his own day, that's actually 2-0 right there in the Leicester game. It's actually looking like a big fight now. Because if there's, I don't think anything will change right now because the goal difference is still much. I think one has 17 and one is having minus 70, one is having minus 35. So I don't think much. Yeah, it's not changing anything much there. So still a lot of things to fight for in this game, but that's the beauty of it. Just keep everybody tensed so we can see more goals in this game.
And to cap it, Leicester just made it to 2-0 in the 63rd minute. A goal scored by Fies.
There's a goal in the Southampton game.
And Southampton just made it 4.
Wow.
4-2 against Liverpool. Jimmy just shouted, wow. It's not a siren sound by our fans.
Coming from 2-0 to losing 4-2, that's really saddening. That's really bad of Liverpool. This is not Liverpool we actually know. And to think Mohamed Salah is on the pitch in this game, we've not really seen much of him for the past 65 minutes or so they've actually played in that game.
But the thing is here that either they win by 10-0, they are not going past that 5th position. If they lose 100-0,
and should
they are not going past.
To win by 10-0,
they are not
staying back in the
So it's just like an inconsequential
I don't really
game.
want to trust this Southampton leading 4-2 because we saw what happened against Arsenal, where Arsenal came back from was it 3-1 or 3-0 down to actually drew that game 3-3. Yeah. It was around 3 minutes problem that day. So I don't really want to put my money on Southampton, but Liverpool is not consistent. A Liverpool side we saw this season defeated Manchester United 7-0, and here they are today losing 4-2 against Southampton. Really saddening to see Jurgen Klopp in this situation.
Jimmy, how disappointed are you about Leeds United? They are currently 2 goals down at home to Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I won't say too disappointed on this game though, but because
a quick update: Crystal Palace just equalized Nottingham Forest. Now it's 1-1 in the Crystal Palace Nottingham game at the 66th minute. Continue.
Yeah, so looking at Tottenham, they are at risk of losing that Conference League spot, which would be a huge blow. I don't think they've not missed Europe in, I think, since 2011 or 2010-11 thereabout. So it will be a huge blow for them, considering this season has been a roller coaster for signing Antonio Conte, sacking him, and etc. etc. But I didn't expect anything from Leeds going into this game. Because if you look at the two sides, Tottenham are, obviously superior. Leeds are a minor, as you call them.
Leeds are not just minor because Leeds has actually been one of the big teams in England.
One of the
traditional teams in England.
Yeah,
so they had this problem towards the late 90s, early 2000s, and they went on relegation, and took them years before they could come back. So Leeds United should be. I think they've
I think
been
one of their biggest problem was sacking was this their former manager.
Italian manager.
No,
the Spanish man.
Not Spanish.
Is it
the Argentine.
Is that just
Marcelo Bielsa.
Bielsa. Sacking Bielsa is one of their real biggest problem, because at the point this season they came in with the American coach who actually didn't really do
But the guy was sending them to relegation last season. They had to do what they had to do.
They had to do what they had to do. Right now, where are they now? They're still in the relegation zone.
They lost qualities.
We've seen some teams who actually kept faith in their coach.
Yeah.
You see a team like what's it called, Northampton. Northampton Forest. They were Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest were almost in the same situation at the point in this season whereby they were down, losing games, playing different type of draws, putting them in the relegation zone. But they kept faith in Steve Cooper, and see where they are right now. So at times it's about you just keeping faith in these coaches and giving them that confidence. Yeah, Chelsea tried doing it with Graham Potter, but it didn't really work at Chelsea.
Do you know that
that's an ambitious team? It seemed like Leeds. What are you fighting for? They're not fighting to win the league. They're not fighting to qualify for Euro. So it's about how much you're spending in your team. Then that is what justifies the ends.
You know, you can't compare Leeds with Nottingham Forest. Nottingham practically bought a whole full team.
Yes.
And they know that it takes time to gel. But Leeds United, it was the coach for about 3 years. So he already knows the team. And the team was nose-diving into... They were already at the relegation zone.
I won't be shocked if they relegate today and they get, what's it called? Bielsa back.
Bielsa is now the Uruguay national team coach.
Yeah,
so he has a job as a center.
A coach at national team is just a call away from getting back to club football. We know all these coaches actually prefer what's it called?
Club football than. Let's see. There are a lot of guys. Maybe they'll talk to Sam Allardyce. No, I don't think any team wants to take Frank Lampard. Or Jimmy, which team will you advise? The club to take Frank Lampard as the
I would advise the club that wants to ruin their lives.
But wait, for instance, if we see Leeds United in the championship next season, and you want to be like, oh, they should come back to the league next season as soon as possible, which coach do you think they should be looking at? Because they just gave interim coach Leeds United. I think is just about to.
They're starting their party right now.
They are just trying to balance. But back to what I was saying. Which coach will do? Leeds United just scored one against Tottenham, making is now 2-1, 68 minutes. But if they like, they score 10-2, 15-2.
Don't forget this Leeds United too. They also have the same problem with Leicester, because they lost what's it called? They lost
how many
Rafinha.
quality
They
players?
actually lost Rafinha. They also lost Rafinha. We know how good Rafinha is. How much of inspiration Rafinha is to that.
Phillips.
Calvin Phillips also left that team last season.
Yes, they lost two.
They lost two.
Right?
We know how important they are actually to Leicester, to this Leeds
What
United team.
was that?
Oh my goodness.
Sterling.
Oh,
that was a big chance for Bournemouth.
Wow. And there's a fight there.
That was a big chance for Bournemouth, but...
for Chelsea, right?
Bournemouth.
Okay.
But the English goalkeeper for Everton, Pickford, did what he had to do. And Chelsea too just lost a very glaring chance by Sterling.
That is to see Sterling losing this type
lose
of
chances.
Because it sums up his own personal
career.
But
looking at it, Aston Villa was languishing at the relegation area. But somebody came. Unai Emery, some people call him Goodibini. You know, Unai Emery came.
Thank God.
And steadied the team. And they are looking like champions.
Yeah, you'll likely be on the out, looking for another club. Chelsea might be actually looking on cashing out on him.
I hope.
Now, looking at Aston Villa now, How big of a good job has Unai Emery done, Jimmy?
I don't think you can, commend him enough because I don't think anybody would have expected him. I mean, people expected him to
Sorry, Tottenham just made it 3.
Wow.
3 goals to 1.
Hurricane? I respect him so much because it's not easy